Your Worship, the only thing I would raise is it's reiterated in here in regards of Destination Great Lake Taupo, actually half their budget, that's all that's spent on marketing, the other half goes in wages and other things, so at least it's now noted in the minutes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, could I have a move for those minutes, please? Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Item number 4, receipt of the minutes of Turangi-Tongariro Community Board, Mangakino-Pouakani, the Taupo Airport Authority. If we could do that on block, or yeah. And just Tina's any recommendations? Do you know?
The recommendation from Mangakino, number 7, in relation to payment of permanent expenses for equipment to the Waikato River Trail. 6.
Over. Okay, any questions or queries?
I just have an amendment on the Turangi-Tongariro Community Board minutes on page 4/8 in the resolution about the board's submission to the annual plan number 3. It should say stage 3 of the Turangi revitalisation, not stage 4. I'd love a stage 4, but we haven't got one yet.
Okay, thanks.
You read them.
Worship, just one quick query in regards of lakefront development Mangakino. Is that funded by Internal Affairs or us?
For your Worship, it's by Council. Council's put $200,000 aside for that project and the town centre development project in Mangakino to be split between the two.
Okay. Any other questions or queries? Okay, could I have a mover for that suggested resolution 1 and 2? Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Item number 5.
Sorry, Your Worship, I'm always doing this. On page 4/17, financial report, airport. Just read out, the Journal Manager noted that the mowing costs have reduced considerably due to the Council's Parks and Reserves team now undertaking this work. Who did it beforehand?
It was contracted.
Okay, so it was a considerably amount more to have contractors versus. Okay, thank you.
Everyone happy? Okay, item number 5. That's the Lake Taupo Protection Committee meetings, confirming the minutes. Any questions and queries on those? Councillor Williamson and Councillor Stewart. Councillor Park.
I just had just one quick query about the remuneration of trustees. Where does that remuneration actually get paid from?
Paid out of the pool.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm pretty sure it's from the pot of funding that we provide as part of that project, but we'll have to email you and
Great, thanks, Rob.
confirm where that's from.
So the funding comes from the 3 agencies involved. Yep. Central government, local government and regional council. Okay. Can I have a mover for those minutes, please? Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Stewart. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Item number 6, Chief Executive Officer's report. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Your Worship. 3 years as Chair. I'll table the report and take it as read. Other than the fact that I think sort of the important issues, and we've already mentioned it so far, but the psychoactive substances paragraph that we've included with that report, obviously there's been some significant changes this week, so there are developments on that, and we have a ban on all or the removal of these products from shelves, as it were. I would suggest that at this point in time, it's a hold. It sort of puts a hold in place rather than actually dealing with the issue. So from a council perspective, anything that we decide moving on from here, we need to continue with, and don't take it sort of as granted that that problem has been solved. It's a problem that is still going to be there. There are a number of local authorities that are currently going through a hearings process with their policies. They have been advised to continue along that path, or else they will probably end up starting from scratch if they sort of suspend those processes at this point in time. We've had the national election identified for the 20th of September. So obviously, as local government politicians, you'll need to be acutely aware of that as a process, and we'll endeavour to keep you updated with anything that relates to local government as part of that national campaign. Other than that, take the report as read, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Councillor Jollins.
This is just a question for Rob, and it's on page 6/16. And I know we've had this conversation before in terms of our investment portfolio. We talk about, we had a departure from our investment policy to put it into the other rate, I think it was the BBB rating. I was just asking if it was worth considering just re-evaluating whether that strategy still stood, because just from my point of view, having a look at some of the economic indicators moving forward, that we might be entering a bit more of a rumpty period coming up. So I was just potentially considering whether we should look at that again. I mean, I had a look at the resolution when previous council made that decision, and it said the council could decide to sell on if necessary, and I'm just asking whether we should just have a look at that one again, please, because that was back in March last year. I appreciate your views.
I would submit to Neil at this point in time, if you could advise, Neil.
Yeah, certainly. I'll endeavour to answer that question. I think I can't remember the exact council meeting, but it was a few ago that similar question was raised, and Alan, it's the ANZ Bank is what we're referring to in terms of this particular investment. Yep. So it's the investment we have with that. And it was felt that from both the Treasury Management Group and our advisors, Bangkok Treasury, that the status of that particular bond is investment grade, and really not deemed to be a risky investment, given that the parent company being ANZ. However, if councillors felt uncomfortable with that, then certainly you can make the decision to sell.
Okay, and thank you, Mr. Ward. I wasn't asking necessarily that we make the decision to sell. I just wanted to have a reassessment of it. That was all at this stage, just to make sure that that risk had not changed. That was all.
Your Worship, I would certainly support Councillor Jollins. I've raised this issue a couple of times. I think last week or the week before at the Audit and Risk Committee. I believe it was contrary to the policy at the time. But while we're actually on that page, could also raise the next page, 616. We go down to cash management, where we have number 4, no unplanned overdraft costs. That has a cross beside it, where last month, Mr. Ward, I think we had a tick. Are you able to explain why that may have changed?
I may have to seek help from my colleague in the back of the room there, but if you could explain about the sweep as well, Jeanette.
Yeah. Occasionally we go into overdraft in our cheque account, and normally it's by a small amount. Unfortunately, I don't know what that one was about. And the amount of the overdraft cost will be quite small. It's basically a penalty interest that we get charged from the bank. So it would be quite a small amount. We do not have an overdraft facility. What we have done, starting yesterday, to basically eliminate these problems, is we've organised with the bank that they do a nightly sweep from our accounts. Prior to this, we have manually worked out our opening balance, any money that we're receiving in the day, and what our outgoings are, and we manually transfer money between our call account and our cheque account. We've now got the bank to do that for us. So we will theoretically never be in overdraft again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or queries of the report? Councillor Truman.
Yeah, so on page 6/10, just like I know, like here under, we'll say F, for example, so solid waste is under budget by 247k, and transport is under budget. I'm just wondering, are those budgets carried over for the next year? Are they going to be used on top, or that's just not spent?
Yep. No, from an operational perspective, we don't carry over any monies.
So, and so what about, okay, so in regards to the transport being under budget by 422k, it's like more than the whole rural budget. I'm just wondering, is part of that rural? Like, it's a lot of money that we're not spending when we say that we don't have enough money to spend on upgrading rural roading, and yet that's more than our whole rural roading budget.
Some of those monies may still be expended by the end of the year. It's just that it's a timing issue in terms of where we are in the year and when they're going to be expended.
So it might be carried over.
No, some of it might be the rural road ceiling because of it being the unsubsidised work. We can check out and see exactly what it is and get that back through to you by email.
Councillor Body.
Still on 613, Your Worship, number 7 under the notes. Just got the balance of that budget, 13-14 budget will be released, and it's got the word saving. What's that amount and where does it end up?
Sorry. 0.7.
Yeah, but just off the top of my head on this one, the that will be a saving that is released. So basically, what we're saying is that money won't be spent as part of the 13-14 budget. So therefore, it is a saving against the 13-14 budget.
And can I ask through you, Your Worship, what was that amount?
120.
7. Yeah, 120,000. Yeah.
While we're also on the same page, number 11 refers to the botanical height stage 3A. Is that the same stage that we'll be discussing in confidence this afternoon?
Yes, it is.
The figures therefore are different. Is there a reason for that?
What's the difference?
On number 11, it's got 1.2 million. I think on our papers, I stand to be corrected, Mr. Samuels, we had 832,000.
Yeah, so the difference you're talking about, one is a contract that we're seeking approval to tender, and then the second amount, the 1.2, is the total budget.
Yes. So the difference for those two is the contract.
What's it again, sorry? So the 800 amount is the tender that we're talking about letting for the construction, and the other amount, the 1.2, is the total cost for the project, which includes other things like resource consents, development contributions, planning and designing.
Just like, no, shouldn't we have that information then?
Yeah, we do, darling.
It's all in there. Oh, sorry, it's all in there. It's all in there. So yeah, just probably it's a bit of a advice, or if you do have these sorts of questions, detailed questions, which is fine. Just flick it's an email first, but it's so we can get a detailed answer for you perhaps on the day. But so it's not so vague. But yeah. Anything else?
Just finally, yeah, Worship 617. Total investment portfolio. There's some changes in at-core bank deposits, commercial paper, and the totals. So I'm just wondering what has caused those movements compared with the last month. Once again.
Through the chair, it's a reclassification or change in investments between banks, and in particular between money is deposited at banks and UDC is the main change there. And UDC is classified as a strongly rated corporate.
So here we show the total of 27,700,000. Last month there was 33, so there's 6 million. So do we still have 33 million, or is it 27 million in those?
We have exactly what is printed on the Treasury report in those areas.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Body, I think it's a good point. You're saying that what it said last month, so just I'll just follow up on that. If you want to. Cool. Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Williams? 6/33. I just noticed the bus patronage is certainly decreasing quite a considerable way. I don't know whether that puts our funding stress on our funding from the environment Waikato, or just do they comment on these things?
The income from fees is
Yeah, they're funding the operation, aren't they? Yes. Yeah. So does that have an effect?
No.
Didn't they put the price of the tickets up, and did that have a detrimental? I read that somewhere. Waikato Regional Council. Didn't they put the bus fares up? Okay.
I think so.
It's going up, but the regional council operates on a fare box recovery, and Taupo would never achieve the standards that they do like to achieve for fare box recovery, but they will continue to operate in discussion with us.
Yeah, through you, Your Worship, we did change the route of the bus around and knocked off Waitanui and Acacia Bay, and a lot of the school children was using the bus from Waitanui, so that could be the drop in the numbers, I think.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
So why did that happen?
Well, we decided the last council to change the bus routes.
I guess probably.
Well, I can't remember exactly, but there was a report and it made sense at the time.
We've got a new resident out of Acacia Bay now, so we need a
It
ride.
doesn't matter, you worship. The bus is still coming up Garden Mile, so I'm happy.
What's that, sir?
The bus is still coming up Garden Mile, so I'm happy.
Okay. Mr. Williams, any other questions or queries? Councillor Truman.
So on 6/39, so I was just wondering if this might, so in the first part there it says expenditure, it says 146,000. And then, so this is for the Mangakino lakefront, and then under the lakefront development it says final claim is not in yet, however we expect total construction cost to be 101. So I'm just wondering what's the difference between that.
Okay, through Your Worship, the bottom one, so the one within the text, is for the tender for the actual work. The top one is the total expenditure, so includes design costs, resource consent costs for WRC, and capitalisation of staff time. So the top one's your total expenditure, the bottom's just for that contract.
Councillor Pickling.
Just a query, 6/27, it says completion of onshore Park, new water bore, and we've got it blacked out in green, or itemised in green. Yeah, it's not actually completed.
No.
There's sort of a bit of confusion there, because it's mentioned in 2 or 3 places where there's still investigation. We don't know whether we've got to drill further. And
so through Your Worship, that's I can understand your confusement, and on initial reading it definitely looks that way. I guess that's against the milestone that's there, which was the bore testing and development, so not against the actual project, the complete project, just against that bore testing. I can understand how it looks confusing, but that's how the milestones are, or the green refers back to those milestones.
It's on track.
It's on track.
Completed.
I think it should be orange because it will be finished this financial year. Perfectly.
I agree with you. That's probably it's the issue of the milestone rather than the green. From
Don't confuse me anymore, guys, please.
Sorry. Okay. Councillor Williamson.
It's on page 6/52 under the events. Just wondering how far what's this strategic review of the social challenge involves.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So that was as a result of our events team working closely with the cycle challenge. Is that Mike working? So what our events team did is work with an organisation called Sports New Zealand, and they got some experts in to work collaboratively with the Cycle Challenge. And I think they're looking at some changes as a result of that. What they actually are, I'm not sure, but I think it's definitely been a help for them.
So does that involve financial commitment from the council with that Sports New Zealand?
No. Look, I think we might have paid for
the
I think we might have paid for the venue or the room, but the actual cost of that review was done by Sport New Zealand, so it's been a huge one.
So that actually has been done, is it?
Yes, as far as I'm aware.
So can we get a copy of that? Or?
I think the Cycle Challenge trustees are coming to speak to yourself, I think, in the next couple of weeks, Your Worship.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Cousins.
Just for Your Worship, maybe you'd want to introduce the senior staff to the...
Yep, sure. I just want to see. Yep. Any other questions or queries? Councillor Jollins.
Just one question, Your Worship, to Rob, just in terms of democracy and planning on 6/47, just in terms of the development contributions. I understand we're waiting to have discussions on those until the law changes are finalised. Are we going to get caught napping on that one if we keep pushing it out, or are you quite happy for us to wait on this one? Because we don't have a position. 6/47 under the long-term plan, council workshop on development contributions. We're saying that we've delayed any discussions until we know if the proposed changes become law. I'm just wondering whether we'll get caught napping if we wait.
I don't believe we have an issue there.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Worship, on the 6/51, we've also said, and I think to Councillor Williamson's comments, we will carry out an economic impact assessment on the Ironman. I made the comments, where are we with this? Has that been done?
The short answer is I don't know. I'll find out.
Thank you. Also 6/52, there seems to be a contradiction in regards to economic development. We have not achieved, and then we have achieved. There seems to be some confusion as to tourism numbers and retail spending. One would argue that if tourism numbers up, would retail spending go up? We're trying to get a grip for what actually is happening in the district economically, and some of the figures that we get can be a little bit misleading. Well, not misleading, sorry, wrong word, confusing.